All right, welcome. Thank you all for joining us tonight. This is our live election coverage. My name is Ethan Becker. I am a politics and education reporter with the Mankato Free Press. And we are going to get started tonight right away we're going to take a look at results coming in. We have one result already decided by the Secretary of State, and we'll look at that, and it is the Nicollet School referendum. Each question passing by about 60%. We are still waiting on the results for all of the other elections on your screen right now. As you can see, we have three key elections here in the St. Peter mayoral race, the Cleveland school referendum, and the Nicollet school referendum. We are going to go right now to the phones, as on the phone with me is Nicollet School Superintendent Robin Currier. Robin, good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
Really good, thanks.
Good, yeah. And so let's just kind of get lay them in here. How are your feelings now knowing that both of the questions of the referendum have passed?
Well, I'm breathing a sigh of relief. I'm thankful to the community. I knew that this community supported their schools and their school programs, so I'm just really excited to get started with what we promised.
Yeah, and what will the monies raised from the referendums, what will they go towards?
So the operating referendum, which was the first question on the ballot, we're going to be able to maintain our elementary class sizes, which are nice and low, so we can attend to the students more readily. We're going to expand our career and technical education and ag offerings, hopefully increase opportunities for more college and school credits. And then what we really need to work hard at is retaining our high quality staff by providing competitive wages. So that's our operating. And then our bond referendum, we're going to start with enhancing the safety and security of our building, just how people get in and how people are welcomed, so that our students are safe and the public feels welcomed. Then you have your usual infrastructure improvements and just the AVAC systems, looking at our technical ag department and updating some of the equipment in there that is 30 to 35 years old, replacing exterior doors, etc. And yeah, that's our biggest plan.
Yeah, and I know when we had previously talked, you had mentioned that this community has a history of supporting referendums from the school district. Why do you think that is, and what does it mean to you to have such a supportive community?
I think there is a ton of pride in this community for their school. Like I told you before, we were 9 out of 10 referendums supporting over the last several years. They've built a beautiful addition here. I think about 20 years ago, they've added a community center and a daycare. This community takes a lot of pride and they want to keep their school. They know that it's small. They know that we're losing students. So then let's build something. Let's enhance our programming so that we entice kids from other districts possibly to come here and reap the benefits of what this community has to offer.
Yeah. And so now that this referendum has passed, what are the next steps?
So the next step is the facilities committee will take a look at what the plan is, and then bids will go out for the big projects, and we'll be able to start planning and staffing, and I'm hoping we'll be able to start posting for next year for teachers, and that's how we're going to start.
Yeah, and kind of touching on that topic then, what are some of the things that were avoided that may have come up if these referendums had failed?
So if the referendums had failed, we would have been looking at regrouping and possible looking at some cuts. We certainly would not be able to maintain our low elementary class sizes. We would not be able to build a stronger program in our tech ed ag department. So yeah, I'm just really grateful and thankful to the community for voting yes.
Yeah. And speaking of the community, did you hear anything from the community or from voters as they were heading to the polls?
I just happened to run into a couple who were leaving as they were voting, and they just said, "Well, Robin, you know what we voted," and the one gentleman was on the committee, the facilities committee, as a community member. So I just I just remained positive, and I just was banking on the pride in this community that it was going to pass. They know what they want and they know what they need. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there any sort of parting message you would like to give to the community?
I just want to thank the community for showing their support and keep talking to us and keep being part of our committees so that we can do what our community wants us to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Robin, thank you so much for taking the time tonight to talk to me.
Okay, thank you.
I appreciate it. Bye. All right, that was Robin Courier, superintendent at Nicollet Public Schools. As we discussed, Nicollet Schools had two referendums they had a two-question referendum up on the ballot today. Both passed by about 60%. It is still early in the night, and we are still waiting on results from a number of other elections, including the mayoral race in St. Peter and the referendum on the Cleveland schools ballot. Outside of our area, for some other races that people may be interested in, we are getting very early preliminary numbers from the Minnesota Senate District 29 race. That is the district that was vacated following the death of Republican Bruce Anderson. Right now, Republican Michael Holstrom Jr. is in the lead with about 80% of the votes. However, only about 2% of the precincts are reporting, so it is still anybody's game. We are going to take a small break as we wait for the Secretary of State numbers to come in, and we will be back with more from the Cleveland referendum and from the St. Peter City offices races. Thank you all for joining us tonight. We just got done talking with Nicollet Superintendent Robin Courier, talking about the two-question referendum that was passed. As you can see on your screen, question one, which raises operational revenue by about $1,000 per student over the course of 5 years, was passed by a total of 69% of the votes, while the second question, which was dependent on the first question passing, allows the school district rather to issue bonds in sorry, it allows them to issue bonds not to exceed $7.6 million for facilities maintenance. Courier spoke with us on the phone, was generous enough to give us some of her time and explain what the revenue is, or what the referendums were and what they would be going to. We are still waiting on the results for a number of other elections, including two of our three key races at the top there, with the St. Peter mayoral race and the Cleveland school referendum. We will update those as they come in from the Secretary of State, and we will be talking to candidates and to the Cleveland superintendent, and we will be showing you a video taken from the polls earlier today that is all coming up as results come in. Be sure to stay tuned to the Mankato Free Press on YouTube. Well, are you ready? I know we don't have election results in yet, but are you ready? Are you willing to kind of chat about the race so far and your plans if you do succeed?
Happy to chat.
All right, perfect. I'm going to put you on the line here. I'm going to give a little introduction. All right, we are back. We are returning to our live coverage of election results right now. We are still waiting for the Secretary of State to give us some updates on current races going on, including one of our key races, the St. Peter mayoral race. On the phone with me right now, Shannon Noel, current mayor of St. Peter, running for a third term. Shannon, how are you?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for calling tonight.
Good, good. Now, obviously, we are still waiting on results for the election. How are you feeling tonight?
You know, I'm feeling cautiously optimistic. I feel like I've done a lot of talking to the residents of St. Peter and a lot of listening, and I'm really excited about moving forward, continuing the progress that we have going right now. And so I'm really hopeful for a positive outcome of the election.
Yeah, absolutely. And this would be your third term. You were elected back in 2021. You were the first female mayor in St. Peter elected in over 100 years. What does that mean for you?
You know, I think it was too long between female mayors. I was the first in 100 years. I hope it won't take another 100 years when I'm done being mayor for it to happen again. But really, it's such an honor to serve as mayor, and I'm excited about keeping our community moving forward responsibly, inclusively, and with a shared sense of purpose. So it's been a great honor to serve.
That's right. And this year, your challenger is Chuck Lehman, who was obviously the mayor that you beat back in 2021. And in last year's election, actually, that 2021 race was a three-horse race, if you will. And then last year, you beat the other challenger in that 2021 race. What do you think it says about the community's support in you that they continue to put you in the seat above these other people who are so familiar to the race?
Wow. I feel like I've been really fortunate to be elected and also really lucky to serve alongside a dedicated council who really care deeply about the community. And so it's wonderful to have the opportunity, and we're waiting for the results to come in. I hope that I'll be able to continue to listen and collaborate with our community to bring the best work forward that we can for our community.
Yeah. And are there any particular moments or movements that stand out to you over the last 3 years that you've been in the seat?
Wow. You know, I'm always working with an eye toward being fiscally responsible, working on growth in our community. You know, we need to attract new businesses and housing, but I want those changes to enhance our community, keep what makes St. Peter special, but still really do that planful growth. We've done great work in the area of housing while other communities are shrinking. St. Peter has been growing. We've been able to add housing, a lot of different varieties of housing, including single family, multifamily, affordable housing. And that's really what I'm most proud of, and some of the work that we need to continue with. We did a housing study recently, and even though we've made a lot of great progress in the last few years, it's not time to let our foot off the gas. We really need to continue working toward increasing housing in St. Peter.
Yeah, and on that track, then my next question for you was, if elected, what are some of the things that you are going to look to continue doing in your third term?
Well, of course, housing, infrastructure. We need to keep investing in roads. Our wastewater treatment plant is 20 years old, and that needs an upgrade. And so we need to work on that. We need to ensure our city remains well managed, and we really need to continue to prepare for the future. In terms of other things, sustainability, I'm going to keep championing sustainable development and energy efficiency, and community is super important to me. I really want residents to continue to feel informed, to know that I'm here to listen to them, and that they have a voice in decisions that shape our future.
Yeah. And as people were heading to the polls today, and obviously as you were kind of out and about, did you hear anything from the community over the last week or so?
Wow, the support
support I've gotten from the community has been overwhelming. I've just heard so many people reaching out to me saying, we hope you get another term. We really believe in the good work that you are doing and the council is doing. And of course, you also hear concerns. People want St. Peter to remain an affordable place to live. So do I, and the taxpayer here as well. And so that is something that we also want to I'm concerned with, and we'll keep working toward it if I'm elected for another term.
All right, Shannon, thank you. Well, we are still waiting on those election results, but I'm sure, depending on when they come in tonight, we will be touching base again. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Ethan. Have a great evening.
You too.
Oh.
All right, that was Shannon Noel, current mayor in St. Peter and current candidate for the mayoral race. Obviously, we are still waiting on the results of that election. We talked earlier in the night to Robin Courier, who was the who was the Nicollet, superintendent, as their referendums passed by 69% and 64% respectively. As we wait, we are getting new results in not from any local elections, but rather from the state election, specifically the Minnesota State Senate District 47, which is the seat previously held by Nicole Mitchell. Right now, with 5% of precincts reporting, DFL candidate Amanda Hemmingsen Gager is in the lead with about 60% of the votes. However, again, only about 5% of those vote tallies have been counted. We are still waiting on a number of local elections, including that St. Peter mayoral race that we talked about. And we will put this graphic back up on the screen so you guys can see. This is the current lay of the land right now, according to the Minnesota Secretary of State website. We are waiting on results from a number of big elections, including the Cleveland school referendum. This is the second straight year that they have tried to pass a referendum. We are hoping to talk to Cleveland schools superintendent later tonight about that motion and about whether or not it passes or fails. We're also keeping an eye on St. Peter City Council race, a St. Peter School Board race, and two other referendums in Madelia and Sibley East. All of these are going on tonight. All of these we are keeping an eye on, and we will update you guys on as results come in. Be sure to stay tuned to the Mankato Free Press YouTube channel to get up to the minute election results as it happens. And I would like to say one other thing on the St. Peter mayoral race as we wait. Earlier today, we did extend an invitation to Chuck Zeman, the challenger for Shannon Noel's seat in the St. Peter mayoral race. We extended an invitation for him to come on to the show and talk a little bit in the same way that Shannon just did. We have not heard back from that request yet. However, the offer still stands. And if we get a call later on in the night, we will be sure to let you know. We are coming back with live election results. We have new results from a local election, specifically the Medelia referendum, and we are going to get those up and on screen for you in just a little bit. However, Medelia was looking to pass a 2-question referendum, and we have just learned that both questions have passed by about a 60% vote tally on either side, and we're going to put that graphic up on the screen for you right now so you can see. Obviously, as you can see down in the bottom right corner there, we have the Medelia School referendum, the first question of which was to issue building bonds not to exceed 22.5 million. That passed with a 69% vote tally to a 31% no, with 100% of the precincts reporting. Question 2 was then to issue general obligation school bonds in amount not to exceed 8 million. That passed with about 60% of the votes coming in. Again, we have 100% of those votes coming in from that precinct. That goes along now with our Nicollet School referendum, which came in earlier tonight with 69% voting yes on their first question and 64% voting yes on their second question. We are still waiting on results from a number of other races, and we're still waiting on word from a number of other candidates in these races and people involved in these ballot measures. So again, I would just encourage you to stay tuned to the Mankato Free Press YouTube channel, as we will be updating different election results as they come in, including right now, where we have new Minnesota State results coming in, according to the Minnesota State Secretary of State website. In Minnesota State Senate District number 29, with 40% of precincts reporting, this is the district that was vacated when GOP member Bruce Anderson passed away, and earlier this year, rather, excuse me. And it looks like with 65% of the votes, Republican Michael Holstrom Jr. is currently the heavy favorite in this. But again, less than half of the precincts are in. There's still plenty of time for the tides to turn on this race, as so to say. And in the Minnesota State Senate District 47, this is a seat that was previously held by Nicole Mitchell. DFL candidate Amanda Hemmingson Yeager currently holds 61% of the vote totals, and that is with 89% of precincts reporting. DFL member, again, Amanda Hemmingson Yeager, with 61% of the vote totals. Those are the up-to-the-minute election results that we have right now. We are still waiting to hear from a number of other elections that we will put up on your screen right now, including, of course, the St. Peter mayoral race and the Cleveland School referendum. Be sure to stay tuned to the Mankato Free Press YouTube channel for information on those as it becomes available. And we are coming back live to you. We have new updates, not from a local election, but rather from a election of interest. Right now, we are taking a look at the Minneapolis mayoral race, and right now, it looks like with 99% of precincts reporting, it looks like current incumbent DFL member Jacob Fry will retain the seat. He has 41% of the vote of the first choice votes. Rather, excuse me. This is, of course, a ranked choice election, and it looks like there is a good chance that Jacob Fry will remain in the seat of the Minneapolis mayor. However, again, with ranked choice election, you do need to get 50% of the votes. Otherwise, we move into the second round of voting, and we do not have those numbers as they currently stand. We are still waiting on one more precinct in this election, and we will be providing updates on that as they become available. We are also still waiting on numbers from a number of other local races, including both mayoral race and city council race in the city of St. Peter, and a school district's referendum in the city of Cleveland. We will have updates on those as they become available. And we are getting word right now of a new election result coming in from the city of Cleveland. This is one of our key races that we were looking at. Cleveland schools had a referendum on the ballot, specifically asking for $750 per student over the course of 10 years. This is a referendum that they attempted to pass last year, and it failed by 190 votes. And we're going to put the results up on the screen right now. As you can see, real results coming in, not updated on the Secretary of State website, but reported to us from the Cleveland School District. The referendum passes with a vote of 52% to 48% with 100% of votes tallied. We are going to, in just a minute, be talking to the superintendent of Cleveland Schools. Just stay with us. And we are coming back right now with word from Cleveland Superintendent Dustin Bossart. Obviously, Cleveland was one of our key election races to watch, and the referendum there passing by a vote of 52% to 48%. Dustin, good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And I want to just start with talking a little bit about what this referendum is. And so, what exactly will the monies raised from it be used for?
Yeah, it's an operating levy for day-to-day operations of the district. The needs that we have within the district. It's a $750 per pupil levy with cost of inflation included each year. It's basically taking care of the needs that we have for programming and the things that we do for the kids within the building. Without it passing, we're then looking at more reductions as we do 500,000 from last year when it failed.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I wanted to go back to and start from. Then is this is the second attempt at the referendum, and the referendum, from what I had seen, was identical to the one that failed last year by about 200 votes. Was there any discussion about changing the referendum, or was this kind of what the school district needed?
Well, it's what the school district needed, but it was also something that we wanted to behind. So we did a community survey, and the results coming back off of that survey was the community wanted to see us be more efficient, more savvy with our money, see if we couldn't find some reductions first before coming and asking for them. So we did that. We went to work and we reduced about 500,000 through a lot of different means. We became more efficient with the use of some of that money and some of the positions that we were having. And then the community felt if we could do that, show that, then if we need 750, then we should go back out for that amount. So that's what we did.
Yeah, absolutely. And what does it mean to you to see the community kind of uphold their end of that bargain by passing the referendum on the second attempt?
I've only been this my second year as superintendent, but the community takes so much pride in the school district. They love the kids in the building. You show up for an event here, and the gym is packed, the courts are packed, the football, baseball fields are packed. It's the hub of the community, so we knew that we would get support of the community. We just had to, step up and prove to them that we were doing our end of the bargain in this relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. And had you heard anything from community members as they headed to the polls?
You know, I stayed away from the polls. I didn't want to, influence or get caught up in anything there. So I completely stayed away from it. I purposely didn't listen to anyone coming in the building that had been up there. I just wanted to have a clear mind and let things play out as they would, and hope for the best.
Yeah. And what were some of the things that were avoided that the school district may have had to consider had this referendum not passed?
Well, right, we threw pretty much everything at the wall. Every idea that we had, it was on the table, from running our preschool program, looking at eliminating co-ops in our activities, eliminating some staff positions again, changing our busing, not picking up within a 2-mile radius, creating more cluster stops, reducing support staff, reducing custodians, you name it, it was on the table.
Yeah. And what does it mean for you to see this motion go through?
I'm happy. I'm thrilled for the kids, because it's the kids that win on this, because they see the end product. They are the end product, and they're gonna reap the rewards for this. I know we have a lot of nervous staff around here, because if it doesn't go, we're making reductions, and that creates a poor environment atmosphere for people to work in. So I'm happy for all the staff that they can go about their business and do the great things that they've always done. And now we can put that money to the places that we need, and be cautious with it, but get things taken care of.
Yeah. And what are the next steps for you guys now that this referendum has passed?
The big thing is thanking people, and then make sure the community knows that we are very appreciative of their support. And then it's working on next year's budget and getting things in place, and looking at enrollment numbers, and making sure that the things that the money needs to be used for is getting to those areas, and making sure that if we can start building up our savings account for that rainy day, and just be frugal and efficient with what the public's giving to us.
Yeah, absolutely. Dustin, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us, especially this late at night. I really appreciate it.
You bet. I appreciate it too.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Bye. That was Dustin Bosshart, the superintendent of Cleveland Schools. Obviously, the Cleveland operating levy referendum passing with 52% of the vote tallies coming in as yes. One of the things that Bosshart himself mentioned was the community support, and that was something that we saw out on the streets. I actually had the opportunity to get out to Cleveland earlier today to get some video and talk to some of the people as they came out of the polls, and we're going to go to that now. Cleveland City Hall, the sun is beginning to set. It is about 4 p.m. That means polling locations. I'm standing here outside Cleveland City Hall. The sun is beginning to set. It is about 4 p.m. That means polling locations will be open for another 4 hours or so. Now in Cleveland, there's only one thing on the ballot, an operating referendum for the school district. Last year, this referendum failed by about 190 votes. This year, speaking to voters outside the polling place, it looks like it could be a different story.
This is a different year than most because all of the townships and what have you are voting in one location. So we could have up to 2,200 voters today. So far, we're probably almost to 500 voters.
Yes. I voted yes.
Yes.
I'm voting yes.
We voted
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Small school districts always struggle with financing. In order to keep a school in a small community, you really need the participation of the people in the community.
think we want a future for our school, for him and other
Yep.
future children.
Well, we just have lived in Cleveland Township since 2013. We live on one of the lakes down here. We moved from southern Minnesota where we had a small public school, and the need for public education within these districts and these communities is so important to the community and to the kids, and we're excited about just the opportunity to say yes and hopefully get the funding that they need to do the programs and educate the kids the way that we want them.
We've supported the school since we've lived here all of our lives, and it's been such a big influence on our family with our 4 kids, and it was an easy decision.
I got kids. One of 4 is here with me, so got to keep the schools going. Otherwise, they got to go to other towns for it. So
It's for the current kids and for my own kids that are going to grow up here. I was lucky enough to receive a quality small town education, and I'm just hoping that the kids of our future can get the same thing. They deserve the resources they need to feel supported, and all the extracurriculars that a large school has to offer. We should be able to give our kids the same thing.
All right, and that was our look at the polls earlier today in Cleveland. Obviously, the people there unaware of what the result would be, and that result is yes, as many of them voted, as you saw in the video, 52% of voters in the Cleveland community voting to approve the referendum on the second try. We're going to put up that graphic now so that you can see. And as you can see on there, 52% voting yes, with the rest 48% no, and 100% of precincts responding. That means 2 of our 3 key elections in key races have concluded. The third being the Nicollet School referendum, which was a 2-question referendum, both passing by over 60% of the vote. We are still waiting on results from a number of other races, including the St. Peter mayoral race and the city council race down there, as well as another referendum in Sibley East. Actually, that has just come through just this minute, and it looks like that referendum will actually fail by a vote of 60%. So that will 60% no to 40% yes, with 100% precincts reporting. That information coming to us just now from the Minnesota Secretary of State website. So the Sibley East referendum will not pass. And that is the first referendum of the night that has failed. We're still waiting, as I said, on word from a number of other elections, and we are keeping track on some key elections throughout the state of Minnesota. We are going to go now to an update on one of those. Minnesota State Senate District 29, that was the district that was has a vacant seat due to the death of GOP member Bruce Anderson. We have an update, 67% of precincts reporting. Republican candidate Michael Holstrom Jr. still holding strong, having held the lead all night, this time at 62%, again, just under 3/4 of precincts having reported to the Minnesota Secretary of State website. There are still a number of other reports that we are waiting on and a number of other elections that we are waiting on, and we will update those as they come in throughout the night. Be sure to stay tuned. Obviously, thank you for joining us. For those of you just joining us, we would like to just update our graphic here with the Sibley East results. 60% of respondents voting no. The community voting down the Sibley East referendum that would have increased its general education revenue by about $650 per pupil over the course of 10 years. that is all four now of our school referendums coming in and being reported. The other ones down on the bottom right corner, Medelia's passing. It was a 2-question referendum. Both of those passed by about 60% of the votes. The Nicollet School referendum, which we got word on much earlier in the night, again, another 2-question referendum. That one passing by 69% for the first question and 64% for the second. And as you just heard, we just got off the phone with Cleveland School Superintendent Dustin Bosshart to talk about their referendum passing. This was the second attempt at a referendum with 52% of the community voting yes. This time, a turn from last year when the referendum failed by about 200 votes. We are still waiting on word on a number of other races, including the St. Peter mayoral race. Stay tuned. And we are coming in live right now with the final update on election results for the evening, as all of the local races are in, according to the Minnesota Secretary of State. And what we were waiting on was the St. Peter races, specifically the St. Peter mayoral race and the St. Peter City Council race. Looking at Secretary of State information, it looks like with 100% of precincts reporting, current Mayor Shannon Noel will retain her seat with 73% of total votes. Chuck Zeman, her opponent, and the former mayor of St. Peter receiving just 25% of the votes. Looking at City Council Ward 2, incumbent Dustin Sharstrom will retain his seat with 100% of precincts reporting. He has won with 70% of the votes. Looking at the St. Peter School Board race, this is a election where you can elect 3 members to the school board with 100% of precincts reported. It looks like the 3 members will be Drew Dixon with 25%, Kate Martins with 27%, and Charlie Potts with 28%. Marcia Ranft receiving just 18% of the votes cast. Looking outside of our local area, in Minnesota State Senate District 29 with 91% of the precincts reported in. This is the Senate seat that was vacated after the untimely death of GOP Senator Bruce Anderson, and Republican candidate Michael Holstrom Jr. It looks like will remain in the lead as that race heads to the finish line with 62% of the votes being cast in his favor. Looking at Senate District 47, this is Nicole Mitchell's seat with 89% of precincts reporting in. Amanda Hemmingson Yeager still in the lead with 61% of the votes. Of course, that is 89% of the total precincts reported. And when it comes to the Minneapolis mayoral race, with 99% of the votes tallied, it looks like we will actually need to go to the second choice, as this is a ranked choice election. The first choice ballots coming in, the lead there, 41% of votes coming in for incumbent Jacob Fry. However, that is not enough to win on just the first ballot. So it looks like you will need to go to a second choice. That will be all for us tonight here at the Mankato Free Press. I appreciate everybody who tuned in to say hello and to speak with me. A special thank you to Nicollet Superintendent Robin Courier, Cleveland Superintendent Dustin Bosshart, St. Peter Mayor Shannon Noel, all of whom spoke to me earlier tonight on the phone. Thank you all for tuning in, and we hope you have a good night.